When I got my grounding mat, I put it on my bed. Within 2 weeks, it took some time, but I know about alternative medicine. It takes time. That's just how it is. It takes a time to get caught up or whatever. Anyway, after about 2 weeks, I found that I was actually sleeping 6 to 8 hours straight through, which was miraculous because before that, I was, 2 to 3 hours. I never got a straight through sleep ever. Hadn't for years. I mean, since I was a young person, I would actually lay in bed for my extra 15, 20 minutes and just revel in the fact that I was pain free. I would just lay there and just feel my body. I would just scan my body. Where's it hurting? Is it hurting anywhere? It's not. What? It's not hurting? My name is Collette, and I'm 67 years old, and I've had health issues most of my life. In 2011, I was diagnosed with lupus RA. I've dealt with chronic pain for many years. I was raised in the mountains of Montana, Western Montana. I used to feel better when I slept on the ground. My mom would find me out in the doghouse most of the time. And I slept with the animals. And if I had to sleep in a bed, I didn't sleep well. I'm kind of an insomniac. I have tried so many different kinds of alternative ways to do things because my grandmother was an herbalist. When I was a teen, I went to the city. I didn't do well. I traveled a lot in the US. I've lived a lot of different places and a lot of different environments. But I always found that I was better off if I could touch the ground. Concrete was not my friend. But I ended up doing the medical thing, doctors, surgeries. Right now I have treatments for the lupus that supposedly keeps it under wraps so that it doesn't kill me because I've had it for so long. No, I was never introduced to anything like that. It's kind of new to me. I live in Arizona now, and I've heard of a lot of different kinds of alternative things just living here because I'm only about an hour away from Sedona. I had never heard of earthing or grounding until just recently. In my spiritual practices, grounding is very important. I spend a lot of time at least getting my bare feet on the ground because I feel better. It helps me feel better. It just showed up one day on my Facebook, your little ad that you have. And it was like, wow. And something just made me want to get one. And so I took my little bit of savings, my jar, I have my little jar. I took my jar out and I got one. It's the best investment I've made in so many years. It's not even funny. I mean, I was shocked at how big of a difference it made, but it took some time because my pain level is pretty high because of what I've got going on in my body. I learned how to deal with pain because it was just a constant. It never stopped. It was never gone. But I've turned back to the way I was raised, natural stuff. I got rid of all the drugs except for the infusions because I'm afraid that the lupus will kill me if I don't continue with that. I was on 21 medications at one time in 2014. I did the stupidest thing anybody could ever do, and I threw them all in the garbage all at once, except for 4 of them. I was told that if I threw those in the garbage, that it would kill me. The DTs would kill me. They told me to take 6 months. I took 2. I weaned off of them in 2. And now I take 2 medications plus the stuff for the lupus, and that's it. Most things my body can't do. I'm very chemically sensitive because of that. Because those 21 medications I was on, 13 years I did that. And so I kind of walked away from the medical field. I learned the hard way that they're basically about the buck. There's nothing we can do about the lupus. In 23, I almost died of COVID. My body filled up with just a bazillion blood clots. Anyway, and from that, I ended up with a kind of neuropathy in my feet. Part of it is the lupus RA. Part of it's the RA. I've only had my grounding mat for about a month and a half. Not even that long, I don't think. I swear by it. I have clarity. I can wake up in the morning and actually know who I am. And I have enough wherewithal now that I can sit on the edge of my bed and just go, okay, it's a new day. My mental well-being has changed so much. Before, I had issues with depression, because chronic pain will do that for you. I mean, it's really hard to be happy if you hurt all the time. I believe that happy is a choice. And so I would choose every day, to be happy. But it's hard. It's really, really hard. And now it's just my natural state. Can go back to being cool and loving life and looking out at the trees and actually just get excited about it. Where before it was just like you look outside and it was like, oh God, another day, And so it didn't affect just my physicality. It affected my mental. I tell everybody, you just don't get it until you do it. And then I told him, to go to your website because you explain how there's a difference in the different kinds of grounding stuff out there, the way it's made, the way it's put together, what it's made of, and stuff like that. I researched it and I saw all kinds of it, all kinds of stuff. I like to do that. I research stuff first and I started researching it, and it was just like, you guys, you seemed honest to me. I am not a person to do reviews. I am not. I don't do that kind of stuff because most of the time it's like, okay, I would say that's a 3-star because it really isn't doing what it said it was going to. And so why bother? That's my attitude. So I don't do reviews. But this, I was like, you guys, all you people out there, anybody getting any of this, you got to do this. You got to do this because this is what it does. I mean, if you want to feel better, then do this. That's my thing. And I've been telling my friend about it forever. And she's like, she's a pessimist really bad. And she's just like, okay, if you say so. So I know what she's doing is she's waiting for me to get her something so that she can try it. I notice now that after I'm in bed and I'm laying on it, within a half an hour before I start to fall asleep, I don't have that incredible burning in the soles of my feet anymore. That's gone within 15 minutes of being in bed and letting my feet be on the mat. In the morning, my ritual, of course, is to go out and put my feet on the ground because there's a whole thing in physics that go with that. As far as the grounding mat, all I got to say is it does precisely what you guys say it's going to do. And it's easy peasy to take care of. The thing don't wrinkle. I expected it to wrinkle all up and wad, and everything. I'd have to fix it all the time. It doesn't. The thing just sticks where you put it. It's great. It is. It's really great. I bought the mat for my bed, but I bought the half mat because I don't use my whole bed. And so I didn't see any purpose in getting a big one. I put it lengthways so my whole body's on the mat. Fortunately, you guys put those long straps on there, and so I could just stretch it across and it stays on my bed that way. And I sleep with 100% cotton. I use the cotton in the winter and I use 100% bamboo on my bed in the summer. I got to tell you something that's really interesting. I suffer from really bad headaches. I have my whole life. The headaches, when I was on my mat, I have a My pillow, which is, I don't know, what is that foamy stuff? Anyway, I was still having the headaches, but the rest of my body was pain-free and I couldn't figure it out. So I got a buckwheat pillow. I got the buckwheat pillow originally for my back because I broke my back. I took that and I got rid of the My pillow and I put the buckwheat pillow for my head and my headaches went away. The headaches went away sleeping on a buckwheat pillow because it made sense to me. It's all natural. And of course, my buckwheat pillow is in 100% silk. I use silk so that my hair don't break. Anyway, and so my buckwheat pillow made a difference. So the only thing that I can say is it does make a difference whether you're using non-organic or non-natural fibers with the mat. And it makes sense. That it can't get through. I noticed that after a couple of weeks, I was like, how come I still have the headaches? I shouldn't. And then it dawned on me, oh, the pillow. I got to change out my pillow. And if I get a headache during the day from stress or whatever, I go lay down, 15 minutes gone. I don't have to eat ibuprofen. I don't have to eat no painkillers. The painkillers all went out into the dumpster. I'm impressed. Very. I did because my body has issue with all kinds of different kinds of electromagnetics. Like I can't wear magnets. Magnets exacerbate my pain. I've worn a copper bracelet ever since I was 12, 13 years old because my granny was into that stuff. I found that when I started renewing my copper bracelets, that they had magnets in them and they made my situation worse. And so I had to resort back to my old copper bracelets because they don't have magnets. And so when I was looking at it, I wanted to see if there was anything in these things that were going to make it worse. How is it hooked to the electricity? How does it ground? And so my dad was a contractor, so I understand about how grounding a building. But I also understand too that there's a lot of buildings that are not grounded. They use other alternative ways to do it so that lightning doesn't strike and burn your house down. And so that was one of the things I was looking at. And I also saw that some of them were made out of foamy stuff. And it's like, how do you do that? How does that work? They're smushy. I don't know what else to call it. It's like a foam. I was looking at 2 or 3 of them that were just, they swore by their product, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, I don't see how that's going to work. I was very skeptical. And that was one of the reasons that I chose you guys and plus I'm empathic. And so I go by my feeling. I've been going by my gut feeling ever since I was little because I had to. I learned that living in the woods because I used to go out and wander the woods all by myself, miles of woods, and you learn your instincts kick in, you become aware. And so that was one of the things that when I came across your guys's little ad, it was like, okay, we're going to get this one. And that's what I did. But I did look at some that were just, to me, I just had that feeling that thing's not going to do what it says. Basically, I just went by my feeling. That's how I roll. Everybody I know, I tell them about they ask me questions and it's like, I don't know, you'll have to go online because they want to know what it's made of, how it works, and all this stuff. Just go online. This is where you go. I give them your guys' little website and just go there. They'll tell you. It's worth it. Your life is worth it. It's not going to break your bank, if that's the issue. Like I said, I'm very sensitive. My body's very sensitive. And if, like, I read one of the testimonials, the guy bought one for their bed, him and his wife had lupus. He felt a difference within 3 or 4 days or something like that, but she did not. And so she went dead set against it. I did a rebuttal on that one. It was just like, oh, honey, give it time. You're sick, Nothing's instantaneous. There's no such thing as instantaneous. There isn't any of that guy's going to come up and bap you in your forehead and go, be healed. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, oh, praise God. I just know that you have to give anything alternative time. And these grounding mats, they're just miraculous. I would suggest that you get the little tester. Definitely get the tester and make sure that when you plug it in, it's going to work, instead of just plugging it in and laying on it and going, well, nothing, So any kind of a pessimistic person, research it. It's the best thing I ever did. It's one of the best things I've ever done. That's all I got to say. I am not into carpet bagging. And like I said, I don't usually do reviews. I don't do anything like that, but this was worth it to me to take the time to do. Like I say, I tell everybody I know, everybody I run into, that at the doctor's office, I went in for an infusion and I told everybody in there, you got to get one of these. Of course, some of them were just looking at me like, but there are others that are like, and even the nurses, they take an interest and they'll research it. That's just my gig. That's what I would tell anybody that was on the fence. Try it. Just try it and give it time. Give it at least a month, 30 days. Anything alternative, you got to give it 30 days.